Hey, everybody, welcome to Hourless Life.
Welcome back. If you're new here, we are an American family of three driving around the world on what we think is a pretty epic journey.
Yeah, earlier this week, we celebrated our Nomad anniversary,
Yay!
and that means that we have been full time travelers owning no home or property for 8 full years.
Yeah, we're on our ninth year now.
We're on our ninth year, and
That's so crazy.
it is, and we are on the cusp of entering into Central America, so we're really excited about that. We also are celebrating another milestone.
Yes, we have so much to celebrate this week.
Yeah, so tomorrow is 1 year that we'll have been here on YouTube.
Yay! We
Yeah.
waited a long time to get on YouTube.
That's right. We just went over 19,000 subscribers. So we just wanted to say thank you to you, our community. Community is incredibly important to us. You know, one of the things you guys may not realize about this full time travel lifestyle is that the hardest thing is that we don't have consistency in community. We don't have that person that we can just call up and say, hey, do you want to go get some wings or go to a coffee shop or go have some wine, right? Because we don't have that. So you guys and our Patreon supporters, so important to us. You guys, that consistency in community.
So we do our best to answer all the comments on all the platforms. So again, ask away. We want to hear from you. Tell us where you're from. We like to show Caspian on a map where everybody is. So you are part of school.
That's right. You are part of Caspian school. And tonight you can ask us anything you want. Like, there's really no off-limit topic. We just want to hang out with you, answer your questions. What is it like to travel full-time? What is it like to drive in Mexico? Or what are you nervous about? What are you going into in Central America? Can you get into South America? How do you get into South? Any of those things, we're happy to discuss those with you.
Yes. And hi, Trippin. Hi, Sandra. Hi, Wayne. Thank you to all of you who are here.
Yes, so great to have you guys here. Can you guys hear us okay? Please let us know. Give us a thumbs up or something. Let us know that you can hear us okay. All right, so.
While you guys are all arriving, we're going to do a quick recap.
Yes, we're going to do a recap. We're going to talk about where we've been, where we are right now, and where we are headed next.
So we crossed into Mexico on October 9th of last year to begin our global journey. And so it's been, 5 months now?
Yeah, they're going to kick us out of Mexico here pretty soon.
Yeah, we've almost used up our visa, so we can see the border south this time.
Yes, and so we are slated to, well, that's where we've been, right? So we've been all over Mexico. Where we are right now, we are in the Yucatan Peninsula in Mérida, which is a beautiful, beautiful city here. And we are staying in the...
We had talked about turning off the sprinklers, but we forgot.
There's some sprinklers going on behind us. We are at an Airbnb of a friend of ours who we met on the road, another overlanding family. You can follow them. They're called We Hearts Travel.
Yes, I will put their link because they're awesome and y'all should follow them.
Awesome family. And they told us about this world schooling event that's going on right now here in Mérida. And we weren't supposed to be here for another week, but the opportunity to get Caspian around a bunch of other kids and world school, we were like, yeah, we're totally in. So we bumped it up a week, but we didn't have anywhere to stay. And so the Hart family was like, well, we have a huge driveway, a swimming pool, laundry facilities, Wi-Fi, showers, anything you need, just come stay with us. So we're actually parked right over there in their driveway, and we've been hanging out with them and having a great time.
And that's where Caspian is. He's in the Jeep right now.
Yeah, and then Brittany just added in the comments the Instagram of We Hearts Travels. Highly recommend you follow them. Great, beautiful family.
And they have a big truck if you're interested in that kind of overland travel.
It's sick. It's a big expedition truck.
DIY.
Totally very cool. All right, so where are we headed next?
We are going to Central America.
What? Central America, you guys. We are going to, well, first when we leave here, we're going to go to the Mayan Riviera. And
okay.
Yeah, we're going to
go. A couple things first.
Yeah, we're going to go just south of Cancun along the Riviera Maya and explore that a little bit. We really don't have an itinerary other than the fact that we have to be out of Mexico right around the end of March. Otherwise, they're going to kick us out. So we need to go somewhere, and we are headed to Belize. We are going to go to Chetumal, which is the border crossing between Mexico and Belize, and we are going to cross that border And after that, I don't know how much time we're going to spend there, but we've met some really cool people that are now in Belize that we hope to connect with. And then from there, we're going to go to Guatemala. And from Guatemala, we will head south all the way eventually down to Panama, where once there, we hope to, and we think that that's probably going to be around the end of the year. Once we're in Panama, we are going to put Dauntless, our Jeep Gladiator, into a container and ship him across the Darien Gap into Colombia. And we will either take a boat or fly to Colombia, pick up Dauntless, and continue our trip south through South America all the way to Argentina. The very, very southern tip of Ushuaia is our goal. And that's the furthest south on the planet anywhere that you can actually drive, unless you're Scott Brady and drive around Antarctica or something like that. But other than that, that's as far as we go.
Yeah. So if we max out our visas in Central America, we could be there up to a year. But the rainy season starts in April and it goes until October or even November, depending on what part you're in. And so we just don't know. We're just going to play it by ear. And if we get somewhere and we love it, we might hunker down for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And just enjoy being there without having to deal with like mud and rain in the Jeep all the time.
And mosquitoes and jungle and scorpions and howler monkeys and all of those things that you think about, they're out there. And so we're just gonna, I hope you join us for this journey, you guys. It's a pretty cool thing.
Yeah. So we're starting to have some questions, I think.
Okay.
And we have some more people here. So Jesse is here.
Jesse
Hi,
Vasquez.
Jesse.
What's going on, Jesse?
Candace.
Candace.
Thank you for
Hi,
being
Candace.
here. Michael from San Antonio. We love San Antonio. What's our restaurant there? La Fogata.
La Fogata in San Antonio.
Love that place. Okay. Hayla is here.
Hi, Hayla.
Yes. Los Osos. We've been there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have. Okay. Beautiful. C. Birkenbile.
Oh, that's Chris. What's going on, brother? That's our buddy from Denver.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, Chris. Okay, so here's our first question.
All right.
Here we go. How do you guys plan to live on the road when Caspian gets older?
And this is coming from Haas.
Yes, it is.
Right. So why don't you tackle that?
Okay. Well, I'm not totally sure what you're asking about. If it's about him getting really big, which he's going to physically, he will not always sleep in the bed of the Jeep Gladiator. I imagine that there will come a time when he would like some space of his own, and he can have a ground tent and hang out outside the Jeep when he's ready.
You know, at some point in time, he's going to want that, and we're going to want it too. So at some point in time, he's going to want his own little privacy. But let me tell you something, the bed of the Gladiator with the Goose Gear sleep decks that we have, I could sleep in there. So it's big enough to hold me. So Caspian's got quite a bit of time before he has to make that decision if he wants a little bit of space for himself.
And then if you're asking about school, he's going to be world schooled, and Caspian is in the background calling me right now. What would you like to do?
He can wait because we're live, I think.
Caspian, we're doing
Sorry,
a video,
guys.
babe.
All right. So hopefully that answers your question, Haas.
Yeah.
Oh, you're
I
okay?
have an article about kind of our parenting philosophy and our schooling philosophy that I will drop in a comment in just a second. And
why don't you go check on him real quick, and I will talk about your article.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Only good things.
Yes, only good things.
Keep him accountable.
You guys, listen. That article that Brittany wrote about our parenting philosophy and Caspian's education, if any of you have questions about what's Caspian's life going to be like, you should totally read that article. She's going to link it here in just a moment here in the comments. It is really, there was a lot of thought put into that, and obviously a lot of thought put into our son's education. So I think it's a great article, and Haas, hopefully that answers your question as far as, Caspian getting older. All right, so the next question, did you get soaked? Yeah. The sprinklers are on. All right, so the next question that came up is, you got to link the article.
Yeah, I'm about to.
Okay. How safe is it traveling in Central and South America? And that's from Wayne. Wayne, we don't have any experience doing Central and South America yet ourselves.
But a lot of people do.
A lot of people do. So I hesitate to answer that question from a personal perspective because I can't, right? Having said that, I've been in communication with a lot of people, overlanders who have done the entirety of the Pan American already, several of them. I've also been in constant contact with people who are doing it right now. And honestly, we haven't heard any negative reports from people. And I will tell you that at no point in time in our travel so far here in Mexico have we ever felt our safety or security threatened. Mm-hmm. So I hope that's helpful to you, Wayne.
Yeah, we really try and plug in with the locals, and it makes a huge difference. Something that we've learned, okay, we can all admit that in the United States, there are neighborhoods that are less safe than other neighborhoods. The thing is that in the United States, if it's your home country, like it is for us, we have a gut instinct. Like we can tell when the surroundings are changing and that maybe that's not a place we want to be after dark or what have you. We just know instinctively and we go. Mm-hmm. What we found being in a foreign country is that you don't have that gut instinct. And so it's just kind of a general state of dis-ease mm-hmm. because you don't have that going for you, which you're used to having in your home country. And that's why it's so important to talk to the locals because they have that instinct in their own country.
Yeah, only listen to the people who have actually done the travel themselves. I think a lot of people, they hear news reports and so they're genuinely concerned and they're like, in Mexico. Let me tell you something. This is a true statement and it may be hard to hear, but I'm kind of directing this to my own countrymen in the United States. Listen, there are tragedies that happen all over the United States. There was a shooting in Boulder, Colorado at a King Soopers, but we don't actually tell people don't go to Boulder, Colorado.
Or don't go grocery shopping,
right? But for whatever reason, if any American gets mugged or something bad happens to them anywhere in Mexico, then the whole country's bad. And it's almost like we tend to point a finger and say you shouldn't go down there. But you guys, it's not like that here. I'm telling you, this is our third year in a row coming down into Mexico, and we have had nothing but positive experiences. That's not to say that there isn't danger in corners of Mexico, just like there's dangers in corners of the United States or any other country in the world. And so I just want to avoid that stigma and understand that we shouldn't be pointing the finger at anyone else until we've kind of looked at ourselves. So there's that. All right, what's the next question?
So Nana's Epic Cooking Corner Epicure Consultant.
Wow, that is quite a name. Hi, Nana.
She said that she wishes that she could afford to do what we do.
Okay.
And so I just wanted to share that if anybody's curious about how we afford to travel full time, we do have a really long article on our blog about it. And our income model has changed over time. Again, we just celebrated 8 years on the road and there's been constant change along the way. I will link that article for you to read. And after our story, you can just scroll past it if you want to, because at the bottom of the article, I have some general resources mm-hmm. because your story is not going to look exactly like ours. And those general resources you can go to if you're really serious about wanting to travel full time. Traveling outside the United States is generally much more affordable than traveling in the United States, which is one of the most expensive countries in the world.
Right. And we get asked that question all the time about, how do you afford to do this? Also, keep in mind, we're not independently wealthy. We also have a video called The Long Game here on YouTube that you can watch where Brittany and I tell our story and we literally walk you through year by year how we got to this point. So that's worth a watch. It's kind of like this where it's talking heads there with a few photos added, but it tells our story. But one of the things that I wanted to mention is our home is Dauntless, our Jeep Gladiator. And we don't have any other home. So we don't have property tax. We don't have HOA fees. We don't own a couch. We don't own a television. We don't have a lawnmower or a lawn to mow. And so our resources go into our home much the same as most people's resources go into their home. And honestly, our home is probably less expensive than most people's homes in the United States. So it is a balance thing. A lot of it is choice.
We've had to learn
intentional decision making
to downsize and live with less. Mm-hmm. And as the years go by, we've just realized that we don't need a lot. And it's been so freeing to let go of those material things. It really not only does it save you money, but it frees up a lot of mental space as well, because you're not having to tend to and maintain and replace all of those things.
Yeah. And there's Tripp, and he shouted out truth, which it is, brother. And then he says, I live frugally so I can travel. Mm-hmm. It's a choice, right? And you can live quite frugally here, especially in Mexico and Central American countries.
So Sandra T says, watching from New Jersey.
Jersey.
Jesse says, hi from Dallas, Texas. Another Texan.
Right on.
Let's see. Wildwood Expedition. Finn wants to say hi to Caspian.
Oh, nice.
We'll let him know. And Chris says that Lillian says hello too.
Awesome. Yeah, Caspian's made overlanding friends all over during our travels. It's so great to hear from folks.
And then Paul and Sean Jones waved too.
We love them. Hi, guys.
Hey, guys. Okay, so Johnny says, my wife Flora loves y'all's life. It's awesome. When will y'all get to go south far enough to see penguins? Great question. So I know there are places in South America,
yes,
that you can see penguins. So I imagine that'll be the first place.
And just by a show of hands, you can put a little like thumbs up in the comments. How many of you think that Brittany's going to find some way, she's going to finagle some way to get us to Antarctica? Maybe not in Dauntless, but she's going to step foot on that continent.
No, I don't.
Give me a thumbs up if you think she's going
to do it in Dauntless, but I 100% want to do it. And we will be saving all through South America so that we can go to Antarctica.
So the Tebow family's on here. That's Daniel, Tebow, and family. You guys, we love you. Thank you for being one of our patrons. He said to stay away from the shoe snatching dogs. For those of you that didn't hear that story, I'm missing a shoe, which was lost to a dog in Isla Aguada, and we never found it. So I've got flip-flops right now.
Yeah, at some point in broad daylight,
he just up and
one
snatched
of the stray dogs, and there were many in the campgrounds. And we should have known better, because we had an incident in Baja when we were in Baja in 2020 where one of my sandals got taken overnight.
Yeah.
We did recover it. And
but
so but we looked everywhere. There were these teenagers at the campground.
I offered him a reward.
He did. There was a reward out on the shoe.
On the shoe.
So Eric's in flip-flops until we can get him some new shoes. So
see, all these people think you're going to Antarctica. You guys, if you like this video, please, if you haven't taken a second, please give it a thumbs up. That really helps us out. I know sometimes we don't even think about doing it, but just drop us a thumbs up on the video itself. That's really cool. We'd really appreciate that. All right.
So Deputy C says, hi, Hourless Life. How has the Jeep held up to your expectations? Do you still think you will still have the truck by the end of your world travels, or would you consider making a change?
That is who is this?
That is Deputy C.
Deputy C, let me talk to you about this. So interestingly enough, I just connected with the CEO of Jeep on my personal LinkedIn profile, and I think they're watching us. We're not sponsored by Jeep, but I have a feeling they're watching us, considering it was the CEO of Jeep. Having said that, the Jeep's been fantastic.
Yeah.
It's so far so good. It's everything we'd hoped for and more. It is overbuilt. It's overkill for a lot of what we've needed so far, but it's a long journey. And so, we've only been south of the border since October. We have a long ways to go. And do I think it will last the entire journey? I don't know. If the journey takes 10 to 15 years, as we anticipate it will, think about any vehicle lasting 10 to 15 years and all of the paces that you have to put it through and all the maintenance and all of that business. And then multiply that by the fact that the roads that we travel on are not smoothly paved. I mean, we're going over topes and potholes and mud and dirt and rocks and you name it. So we are going to put this Jeep Gladiator to the test. And I hope that you stay with us, Deputy C, and find out, because you're going to find out along with me how it holds up.
Yeah, and that's the Jeep. And then as far as it being our home, I love it. Mm-hmm. And you don't know. You make plans and you carry them out, but until you experience something, you don't know what it's going to be like. Right. And I really, truly love our build, and it feels like home. And I'm really satisfied with how it turned out. So
all right, you guys who are watching, there's 29 of you watching right now. You guys keep dropping your comments or your questions if you have any. We do have some questions that came into us earlier.
Okay, so we'll take a break.
We're going to take a break and do a couple of these. So Red Dirt Overland here on YouTube, shout out to you. He wants to know, kind of along the same lines of what Deputy C just asked, now that we've been on the road several months, is there anything that we would have done differently on our overland build on Dauntless?
I would have put a shoe bag on it so we could drop our shoes in at night.
Yeah. And honestly, that's probably not what he's looking for. Like, he's probably thinking suspension and, you know, truss axles and all this kind of stuff. And the reality is we're really, really happy with this Jeep build. It was 3 years in concept and planning. It was 45 days in execution at 4 different shops in 4 different states. And we have the best of the best minds and hands on this vehicle. We displayed it at Overland Expo, Mountain West and West before we left the United States. A lot of people, a lot of very experienced overlanders stopped by to check it out.
We have a few friends ordering the Alucab canopy camper.
We've sold a couple Alucab canopy campers, no question.
No doubt.
And, you know, it's got the Red Arc system, and it's got the Renogy battery, and it's got the Rigid Industries lights, and it's got all of those bells and whistles. It's really a phenomenal build. You can link our build article on there or the playlist. There's an entire playlist.
Yeah,
on
I'll
YouTube,
do the playlist
of how we built that vehicle. But we've been really happy with it, and I am not going to. I can't say anything negative about it yet. But rest assured, if there's anything, even with one of our sponsors, if anything goes haywire, we will let you know. Matter of fact, I'll tell you that we just had a solar panel sent to us by Cascadia 4x4, and there was nothing wrong with the panel. But at some point in time, I don't know if I set something on the hood or it's probably my fault, but I set it on the panel or something, whatever. The panel had a little bit of a bubble, so Cascadia sent us a new one. So I just replaced that. But there is there's nothing, honestly, there's nothing negative that I can say.
No, it honestly is mind blowing. And we've spent a lot of nights in this Jeep now.
Okay, so that's the first time I've seen that. What is that?
Wayne sent us $10.
Wayne sent us $10. What? It's got a little sticker.
I know.
I've never seen that before.
Caspian loves foxes too.
Thank you, Wayne. That's really sweet. I didn't even know you could do that on here.
Awesome. Okay, so Nana's also asked, how much is gas increasing now?
Wow. Well, we're not going to get all political on here, but from what I understand, because of recent events in Europe, gas prices are skyrocketing right now. Oil is like at $100 a barrel or something like that. So here it's a little bit more expensive than the United States, but not a lot more.
No, not at all. I mean, so I was just doing our expense report for February, which is something that we provide to our Patreons. And our average has been around $3.60 to $3.80 a gallon all through Mexico. And I think we paid as little as $3.40 a gallon. As we've gotten more up into the Yucatan, we have hit over $4 a gallon. That was before Ukraine and what happened. I guess we'll have to be watching the gas prices, but I haven't noticed an increase yet. I imagine it's coming.
Right. All right. What's the next question?
Simply CC says, hi from Austin, Texas,
Woo,
our
Austin.
hometown.
That's our hometown.
We claim it.
We claim it.
Jesse asks, are you still considered U.S. citizens? What about taxes?
Yes, we are 100% U.S. citizens, and we will be as for the foreseeable future.
Not giving that up.
Not planning to give that up. Taxes, we work with the CPA back home.
No, I mean, we're American citizens, so we pay taxes every year.
Yep, in Austin, Texas.
Right, so we do it for our business, Hourless Life, and for ourselves.
Yep. All right.
Just like everybody else.
Just like everybody else. You know, that's one thing while you're looking at the next question. A lot of people think we're on a permanent vacation. They think, man, you guys have an amazing life. You're on a permanent vacation. The first part of that is true. We have an amazing life. The second part of that permanent vacation thing, that's not what this is. This is life for us. And let me tell you, it can be more challenging logistically doing what we do because we still pay taxes. We still have to go to the dentist. We still have to go grocery shopping. We still have to go do laundry. We go to Home Depot to get parts and pieces just like you do. But it's more challenging because it's not in our native tongue. And a lot of times it's not what we're used to having. I think Brittany is having her mom fly in some chili powder.
Oh, I am.
100%.
I did learn the spices that you can mix together to make chili powder, but I'm not ready to do that yet. I just want chili powder. I actually just wrote my first ebook called What We Wish We Had Known Before Overlanding Full Time, which I can link in a second. But I talk about this in my ebook and how not only do you have to do all the normal adult life things as a full-time overlander, but you have to build the infrastructure as you go. So you have to find the place on Google Maps to print something because you don't have a printer. You have to go stand in line and realize that you don't know the words for portrait and landscape in Spanish, and like all these little things, you're having to figure it out as you go along. And something as simple as printing one page becomes a whole event. It can take up a whole morning when you're out of the country overlanding.
Yeah, and then some companies still require you to fax things. Like, it's a whole mess. So even trying to find a fax machine and then trying to figure out how to do that is it's a mess.
So Judith says hello from West Virginia.
Hello. We loved West Virginia. Wasn't it beautiful?
We had to fly through it, but it was so beautiful. Yeah. We were there right as it was turning to fall.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. Okay. Brittany is going to take Caspian on a penguin expedition.
Hey, there's Abdi.
Better believe it.
Abdi. Hey, Abdi. I really like Abdi. Abdi is also one of our patrons. And Abdi, you've not been talking to me on Patreon lately. You need to get on that because I miss you, buddy.
Sure, he's busy. We forgive you. Yeah. Okay. Wayne said, I thought you were getting some sneakers brought to you.
I am. And so, funny thing, I actually ordered a new pair of sneakers and had them delivered to my in-laws' house. And they are flying into Mexico here just in a few days.
Yeah, on
Sunday. And they're visiting us. So they were already bringing me a set of sneakers of the exact same ones. So it didn't end up being that bad. But I'll tell you what, I've been in flip-flops this whole time. And it's been, I'm ready for my sneakers back.
All right. Pam asks, where's the little guy at? So he's right behind us.
Can they see him? All right, hold on, you guys. I don't know. Can you see?
No, that's the house.
You can't see the Jeep.
Sorry.
Anyway, Dallas is back there.
Yeah.
He's right there.
He was yelling at us a second ago. He wanted a hug and a kiss. So I ran over and gave him a hug and a kiss. Yeah. He's in bed, but not asleep.
Yeah, we try and do these lives just after he goes down for bed because it would be impossible to really have a full-on conversation with him here. But one of these times...
He would have a full-on conversation with you.
One of these times, we're going to do a live with Caspian. And it's probably going to be during the day, but we'll just have him here.
And it probably won't be an hour.
and he can answer your questions.
Yeah, that would be so fun.
Right.
All right. So A Beach says that they're watching, sorry, I don't know if it's a he or she, from the Salish Sea in British Columbia.
Wow.
In a house. What a concept. Oh, I bet it's cold there right now. But we got engaged in British Columbia.
We did at Bouchard Gardens in the Japanese garden.
Yes, in a gazebo, which I totally engineered the spot. That's another story though. So Hillary was asking, is there a way that our patrons can send things to us?
Yes.
Or anybody, I guess.
Yes. So again, thank you, Hillary, for being one of our patrons. And yes, there are ways. The only thing is, for us, we don't always know where we're going to be. Sometimes we have like a date in advance and we can get an address. And then when we get to that area, we can pick it up. So that is a possibility.
Seems like DHL is the most reliable method.
Well, no, the most reliable method is our other patron, Sky Powers, who just flew down to hang out with us.
You can fly down.
You can fly down and hang out with us, Hillary. That's the best way. We'd love to have you.
There are ways.
Yes.
But they require us to be in one place for long enough to get it.
Right.
Which is tricky with us. Okay. Right. I'm going to let you answer this one while I go get my ebook link because I forgot about it.
Okay.
So Chris said, we've been tracking your travel on our own map for Lily, and she's sitting here hopping up and down happy right now. Oh, Lily.
Lily. Hi, sweetie.
Hi.
Well, that's not really a question, but thank you for tracking with us.
Is it Hyla or Hala? I'm so sorry.
I know she's one of our patrons. We don't even know how to pronounce her name.
I know, we should know that.
Okay.
Do you do all of your own maintenance on Dauntless? Do you have connection to places you can go for help with that along the journey?
Okay, I'll answer that question.
Yes.
You're going to go get a link.
Yes.
All right. Or you're going to sit here and get the link. Okay. So, yes and no. We have the tools to do our maintenance, and from time to time we do some preventative maintenance. The other day I tightened a bunch of bolts and stuff like that, just standard routine stuff from taking him on some bumpy roads and whatnot. But we're getting an oil change this Saturday at a Jeep dealership, just like you would back home right here in Mexico. And as far as connections go, we're really fortunate to have 27 sponsors behind us on this global journey. Many of them are global companies that have connections all over the world. And so we have the added advantage that if something goes wrong or something, is a little screwy and I don't know how to address the issue, I've got several bat phones, if you will, that I can call, or quick emails, or a text message that goes to the right person. And then I have the powers that be trying to help us get around the world. And we are so thankful for those folks. Just the other day, I sent an email to Australia to our sponsor, Red Arc. And within minutes, I was on the phone with a North American member of Red Arc, and they were helping me troubleshoot and diagnose something that I needed help with. So yes, we do have those contacts.
There will be times when we don't have connectivity, though.
There will.
And we need to do something. And one of my favorite things is reading stories from global overlanders who have had things happen literally in the middle of nowhere, and how people just come out of the woodwork to help solve the problem because that's what they're used to doing. So they can't just go out and replace things that are broken the way that we're so used to. So they weld and they do MacGyver stuff, and people are so helpful.
But I'll tell you what, anytime I was really humbled the other day. I was having an issue, which was a total first world problem. And I was really frustrated about it. I couldn't get it out of my head. And I was driving down the street, and all I could think about was this issue that I was having. And then there was this man who was wearing a cowboy hat, and he must have been 60 or 70 years old. He was carrying a big bag, and it looked like his worldly possessions. And he was walking down the street next to me, and I got a quick slice of humble pie. And I was like, how can I even be concerned or worried about this tiny little thing that's on my mind when this person is having to carry what it looks like everything he owns on his back. And, I want to keep things in perspective, I guess is what I'm saying. People are beautiful, and every human being has just as much intrinsic value as any other human being. And so that was just a moment that was special for me. Yeah. I'm going to tear up, so I better stop. All right.
So A Beach said that Merida is their absolute favorite part of Mexico. The sprinklers turned off.
Can you hear us better?
Merida is a really cool city. And in 2016, just a few weeks before I got pregnant with Caspian, we did a fly-in trip to Cancun. And we were there to see family and see the beach. And we did a quick, maybe like 2 or 3 night bus trip to Merida to see more family.
Here, where we are now.
Right. And as we were driving around the city, we were just blown away. We had no idea how beautiful it was. And we resolved then in 2016 that we would come back and we would spend a lot of time in Merida. And we are. We'll be here about 3 weeks total.
3 weeks total. Was it day before yesterday? When did we go to the snow day?
Yesterday.
Yeah. Yesterday, you guys. Let me tell you a quick story. And we didn't get this on video, so you're not going to get to see this on our channel.
Sorry,
only you watching it live. Yeah, we were playing. We went out to this cenote here, and if you don't know what a cenote is, it's a cave system, if you will, that has a pool at the bottom of essentially crystal clear water. There's stalactites hanging from the top, and it's just a beautiful natural area. And they're all around this region. And we went out there, but we got on this little train, if you will, like a cart.
Yeah, it was
that's
like
on
a
train
cart.
tracks.
Yeah.
It's a cart that's on train tracks, and you sit on it. And there's no seat belts or anything. Caspian's on there, and then there's this guy with the horse that it pulls you down the train track, and this thing goes at a good clip. Like there was a couple times,
especially when you have a 5-year-old who's like rolling around like this. You're like, ah!
And so we went to the cenote. We climbed down. We got in the water. Caspian got really brave, and he started jumping off the ledge into the water.
It was so awesome.
Huge smile on his face. He was beaming from ear to ear. It's the most amazing time.
Yeah.
Yeah, really cool. Cool stuff to see down here.
Okay. So Pam says hello from Sedona, Arizona. Beautiful place to be. Red Dirt Overland, hello. So what I hear is it is the perfect build minus the shoe bag. Let me know and I will send you one. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. Okay.
And seriously, Red Dirt, if you have any other questions, hit us up in the comments or send us a private message on Instagram, whatever, contact us from the website. I know you're building out a Gladiator. It sounds like you're almost done with yours, but I am happy to be a resource for you and help you with anything that I've learned.
Rosie says, how does medical insurance work?
Take it away, Brittany.
So there are travel insurance policies available. I want to say that Cigna is a popular one to use. We have medical insurance because Eric is retired military. He served 20 years and we had to change our plan to like an outside the United States plan. And basically if anything happens, we have to pay for it up front and then we get reimbursed on the back end. So that's the way that our medical insurance works. However, there are a lot of full-time international overlanders who choose not to carry health insurance because they've done their research and feel that paying out of pocket is less expensive than monthly premiums. And so that is a personal choice. We are now doing that with dental. So we're dropping our dental policy and choosing to put some money away, especially when you have an annual cap. Anyway, like the dental insurance would only pay so much. Yeah, it's interesting to think about. Everybody has to make their own decisions. There are a lot of resources out there.
All right. I like Abdi's question here. He says, would you consider in the near future to make a video about what new items you've added so far and what old items you've gotten rid of? Abdi and Red Dirt, since you were watching too, we haven't added anything. I should say we haven't added anything. We've gotten rid of some things, but we haven't added anything. And I think that that's a testimony to the fact that, like we said at the beginning of the video, we've been traveling full-time for 8 years, 8 full years. We're now on our 9th year of full-time travel. And it's not to say that we have it all figured out, but understand we've been doing this for so long that we simply don't carry extra stuff. That's why I only had one shoe and I needed another pair of shoes because I didn't have a second pair of shoes in the Jeep. We don't carry extra things that we don't need that are going to take up weight or going to take up space and add weight to our payload. So we don't really add things to the Jeep per se, but we do get rid of some stuff from time to time. We kind of do a spring cleaning every now and then. If there's anything we haven't used for an extended period of time and it has nothing to do with life-saving, survival, safety equipment, then we get rid of it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm having my mom bring in some things for us, and it's pretty funny what the list is. I mean, they're really basic life items. So Eric's getting his shoes. I'm getting a pair of walking shoes because today all I have is a pair of hiking boots and a pair of Chacos. So I only have 2 pairs of shoes right now.
Brittany's getting some chili powder, and I'm getting some tortillas.
Some low-carb tortillas.
Keto tortillas because they don't have those here in Mexico.
Caspian is getting a thing of socks, new socks, and he's getting a handwriting book to practice his handwriting. And that's about it. They're like these really basic
Abdi,
things.
Think about that for a second. You're asking us, what do we add to our kit or to our build? The beauty is that when that's what we're ordering, it kind of tells you that what we have is really dialed in. And it's dialed in for our style of travel. I mean, it's going to be different from other people. But we have an article on our website that shows the entire list of everything that we're carrying.
Actually, I don't know that we've redone it for Dauntless.
Oh, okay. Well, we should have. We should create that.
We had a master overlanding packing list for our Jeep Wrangler, but we haven't done a new one for Dauntless.
Well, it's easy because we have that. We should just put it up on an article. But all that to say that even if you had our list, it's not going to be what your list looks like, because everybody travels differently. And this is one of the things that we talk about in our videos. If you've watched our Overlanding 101 series, is you've got to figure out what type of travel you enjoy, right? Like I don't go fishing, so there's no fishing kit except for in my survival bag, but I don't have a fishing pole with me, but you might have that. We don't travel with pets, so that's not a thing for us, but everybody's going to be different, and you've got to kit out your vehicle that the way it suits you. You just have to have the 5 essentials covered, which we've talked about, but it's
5 basics of survival.
Right. So it's water, food, shelter, warmth, and sleep. As long as you have those 5 things covered, you can travel anywhere in the world. And you should.
Speaking of pets, I know someone asked us about pets.
Oh yeah. So it was.
This is previously when we were taking.
It was Jesse Vasquez who's here with us, I think. So Jesse Vasquez on Facebook asked us if we have any experience traveling internationally with pets, or if we plan on getting any during the trip.
So no, we do not have any experience traveling internationally. We at one time had 2 cats and a bearded dragon
named Trogdor
that we traveled with. And no, we do not plan on getting any pets, but a lot of people do. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people travel with pets. And if you go in Facebook groups like On the Road in Mexico, or what is it called? Pan American Travelers
Association. Mm-hmm.
People are always talking about pets and border requirements. And so there are resources out there.
Totally doable. Matter of fact, the family that we linked here who were staying with here at this Airbnb, they have a big expedition truck and they're traveling with a black lab named Oso. Beautiful dog. He's been hanging out with us here. Yeah. So you can follow them. We Hearts Travel is linked in the comments, and they can give you some information about that.
So Mark Griggs is here.
Hey, Mark.
Hi, Mark. Glad you're here. And he said, I'm hoping Starlink at some point has a mobile antennae for internet access.
Yeah, it's already happening. And
I heard that.
Yeah, we're in a group about the Starlink for RVers or overlanders. I can't remember the name of the group. But we've been following the information, and it's kind of a double-edged sword, because I think part of me would love to have that kind of internet available to us anywhere. And then there's another part of me where part of this trip is being disconnected and being challenged and doing things on our own when we don't have those connections. So
our Javen's here.
Badger. Okay, sorry, you guys. I have to time out. My son, Javen Highland, just joined the chat. And I call him the Badger. I've called him that his whole life. Javen, I love you, my Badger. I'm so glad you joined us.
Love you, Javen.
All right.
Awesome. Okay, Marcia, keeping that perspective is so important.
Hi, Marcia. It's good to see you. Thank you. Thank you for being one of our patrons as well. You and Jeff, thank you so much.
Yeah. Chris asks a really hard question. How are your minds and bodies holding up?
Whoo, Chris, go on. Take them gloves off and just ask the tough questions. Hey, we said you guys could ask us anything, and that's part of what this is about. So let's talk about that. Go ahead.
I have been better. Thanks for asking. I am struggling right now with working on the road and just kind of the rhythm, specifically about my freelance writing that I do, which is a huge passion of mine. And it doesn't really have a place in a rhythm because it's project-based, which is one of the reasons that I love it, is that I can kind of work it into our travels, work it into times that I know we'll have internet or we won't, and plan accordingly. But because we don't have a rhythm, when I have a deadline, it's sometimes hard to fit in those working hours in a way that works for the whole family. So that is the nice way to put it.
Brittany,
right, babe?
It's the very nice way to put it. Brittany is an incredibly hard worker and an amazingly gifted writer, and she is she's making her dreams come true. But it's not easy, you guys. And matter of fact, that's one of the comments I was going to put on here as well. YouTube is not easy. So from my side of the house, YouTube is hard, y'all. It's hard to do this, especially because we don't have that Google Fiber that we go home to and plug in and upload things at breakneck speed. I uploaded a video the other day that it took me like a day and a half to upload a 14-minute video.
Overnight upload. And we were just fortunate to be in a place that we were staying the next day.
Yeah, my computer was just sitting there uploading the video. So YouTube is really, really hard to do. Brittany's writing is hard to do. And it's hard to schedule all that because I said this in one of my videos. I think it was the La Huasteca Potosina second video. I said, whether you realize this or not, and I hope you take this the right way, we don't have to do YouTube. We don't have to do anything of this nature. Like we worked really hard for 10 years to make it so that we didn't have to work anymore. And like I said, we're not independently wealthy. We just have a careful enough budget to not take debt around the world and be able to put fuel in the tank and keep food on the table and do necessary repairs. Having said that, we choose to do it. Like, we choose to put ourselves through this of trying to come to you live or trying to create and record videos so that you can join us around the world in doing this. And Brittany chooses to write because it's her dream, it's her passion, and her sales are full when she's writing. And so, but it's hard. It's hard because there's a lot going on, and it's not easy to do what we're doing right now. So it can be tough.
All Vanessa says, I'm late to the party,
hey,
but hello.
Vanessa. Hi, Vanessa is a regular commenter here on YouTube. Vanessa, very nice to have you here. Thanks for joining us.
And the Tebow fam for sure haven't gotten rid of Brittany's vacuum.
No, 100% no. Matter of fact,
I was just using it. Yeah, because, okay, so since we're sitting here for 8 days, we had plugged in to shore power, which this is only our second time doing that, I think, since we crossed into
and we didn't really need to, but we chose to
because kind of a precaution.
It gives us 100% battery all the time.
So anyway, today I'm like, hey, Eric, did you know that ants are crawling up our cord?
And
we look down just like feet and feet and feet of cord, and there's ants up the whole thing, and they're climbing into my kitchen bag. And Eric's like, are they inside? And like, I look inside, I'm like, yeah, they're inside.
And then came out the Dyson.
Yes. So
we are not sponsored by Dyson, but we should be, because Brittany broke that thing out. She looked like something from Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome.
Ants. Like, I really love ants, and I'm constantly telling Caspian to watch them and not squish them. But when they're in the house, you have to squash that pretty quick.
All right. How are we doing? Is that it for questions?
Yeah. Do we have any more from earlier?
We do. Johnny Grimes on YouTube wants to know, is there anything we would change about our nomadic journey? Anything we would change? Not our vehicle, but anything.
For me, it's not really anything to change. It's just still things to figure out. And part of me wonders if we never will, because when we were first traveling and we had a 40-foot RV, we had this travel rhythm. It's like a math equation. And we would stay one place for 2 weeks. We would move on Saturday, and we wouldn't go any farther than 250 miles.
Yeah.
It's like all these specifics. Boop, 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 boop. And we followed them for like, how long? Like 4 years, like religiously. And now it's not necessary or really practical to have a travel rhythm like that, because we don't have the internet requirements that we used to have for work. And the reality is that some places we really love and some places we don't like. Right. So like, we're always balancing between those two things. Sometimes the weather gets really bad, or sometimes the weather is beautiful. We don't control that, and we can hardly predict it. I mean, days it says it's not going to rain, it rains, and vice versa.
Right.
So we can't have a travel rhythm.
Yeah.
And so like, part of me thinks it's more like a coming to peace with the instability, and that is more what needs to change.
Yeah. And I was going to say that, just not as eloquently. Coming to peace with the instability. I think that it's a challenge, you guys. What we're doing is a challenge, but it's also a joy. Like, I don't want you to think that we're complaining about it. Like, it's incredible down here. It's amazing. Right now, you can't see it, but right in front of us, there's a pool that is here at the Airbnb house where we're staying, and there are bats flying down and drinking from the pool and then flying off.
And hopefully eating all the mosquitoes that
they're
are
just like constantly flying around.
Yeah.
It's really cool. All right. So let's see here. Dan Tebow.
Well, we got some really nice comments. 91 against all odds left a really nice comment. Thank you.
Thank you.
And then the Tebow fan.
Yeah, Dan wants to know, which country are we most excited for? Now, I have an answer for this, but it's not the full answer. So the country I'm most excited for right now, like in the immediate future, I'd have to say is Costa Rica. And only because I've heard so much about it, but we've never driven there. So I'm excited about it for that reason. Having said that, if we're looking at the global journey, Any country in Africa is my answer. And the reason for that is I've never stepped foot on the African continent. I've been on all other 6 continents, including Antarctica, which I've been to twice, but I've never in my life stepped foot on African soil. So when I do, I'll be able to say that I've been on all 7 continents, and I will have crossed or checked that off my bucket list. So any country in Africa is what I'm looking forward to the very most. What about you?
So I'm not going to give a world one because the world is a big place. But it's funny because in our immediate future, mine is Costa Rica too.
Really?
Yeah.
We hadn't talked about this.
And I'm really curious because some people just love Costa Rica and some people say that it's overrated. So I'm curious to see what it's like.
Yeah.
And I can see it being a place that we settle for maybe a month or so, especially if it's the heart of the rainy season. It could be a really good place for us. But I've also heard wonderful things about Guatemala and Nicaragua. So I'm excited about Central America. I really am.
We're really excited. You guys, we have some more questions, so we're going to go over those. I just want to say I'm seeing a lot of our patrons on here. For those of you who don't know, we do have a Patreon, and that is our community that's really special to us. Please consider at least taking a look at our Patreon page. I think, Brittany, you linked it at the top of our
it's right at the top of the description.
Just take a look at it, because that community there is part of what keeps us sane. And there's quite a few of you on here right now, and I just want to say thank you publicly, because this is going out to all of our YouTube community. Thank you for being part of our patron community. I think a lot of times people think that it's like we just want
a money-making
it's a money-making thing, or we just want you. Like, you don't understand. It's hard. We're alone out here. Like, we meet people like this beautiful family that we've met. We love them. Like, they're going to be lifelong friends.
But we're about to say goodbye.
We're about to say goodbye. And who knows, we might not see them for another 10 years. And so it's not like back home. Like, even if you go on a road trip, you come home. You go on a weekend camping trip, you come home. We don't have that. Home is wherever we are parked, literally. Now you got those t-shirts that say home is where you park it. It's our home. And so we don't have that consistency in community. And our friends that have shown up here for this video who are from our patron page, man, we love you guys. Like, we have really gotten to know you, and we talk about all kinds of stuff back there. So please at least take a look at it. Consider it. If you would be willing to sit with us and buy us a cup of coffee once a month, that's the equivalent of joining our Patreon. So I'm gonna stop talking about it.
A U.S. price.
A U.S. price cup of coffee. Yes. All right. What do we got?
Okay. Rosie, thank you for your prayers.
Yes.
Vanessa asked if we've come across any scary, creepy crawlies. There are so many weird bugs that we've never seen before, but fortunately I don't have a fear of bugs, so I always just call Caspian over and we check it out. So
yes,
I'll take some pictures for you, Vanessa, and we can continue the discussion. Mm-hmm. I'm just kidding. I won't do that to you. Thank you, Chris. Wade. Hey, Wade. Welcome. What skill set that you had previously developed has served you the best on this new adventure?
You want to tackle it?
I don't know what to say.
I mean, for me, Wade, that's a great question. For me, it's obviously 20 years of military experience. I think that attention to detail is probably a big one. Keeping your head on a swivel, paying attention to your surroundings and that type of thing has been really helpful. Probably, though, so far, the most helpful thing has been my ability to speak Spanish. I mean, It's not a requirement to come down here. Google Translate is your friend, but just the ability to have full understanding of the languages of the countries that we're in is incredibly helpful.
And it enriches our experience.
It does.
Too, so much.
Yeah. Although you should tell them about our checkpoints.
Oh. So we have never been pulled over in Mexico ever, but we have been through checkpoints. And just recently, kind of coming around the Veracruz curve and up into the Yucatan Peninsula, we have been stopped, I think, for the first time this trip, just routine checks. And so Eric is the world's best gringo. And I love listening to him with these police officers because he is pretending that he doesn't know Spanish.
It's funny. So we'll pull up to these things and I'll lower down my window and they'll start speaking to me in Spanish. And I'm like, hi, we're going to, how are you? We love your country. And they'll be like, ¿Dónde vas? ¿A dónde van ustedes? Yes, love it. Love this place. We're family. And then I'll roll down Caspian's window in the back. And meanwhile, Caspian's speaking to him in Spanish. He's like, hola, una mesa para 3 personas. Hola, aquí, mucho gusto. And Caspian's speaking to him in Spanish, and I'm speaking to him in English. And so I'm allowing Caspian to kind of get the officer's attention.
And they always chuckle, but they're like trying not.
They're trying to be serious with us. And then I just keep speaking in English, and he'll ask me like a question, something like, are you, do you have your whatever? And I'll be like, yes, I am so looking forward to going to Merida. And Merida. And we're really
true. Like he really just did this Merida.
And we're really excited. Thank you so much for having us here in your country. And then he'll ask me a question and I'll just nod and smile and I'll be like, yes, sir. Yes. 100%.
It is so
Thumbs
great.
Up. And then they're just like, move along, get out of here. So true stories.
Candace says, I love getting your daily updates via Patreon and being able to see exactly where you are on the map.
Yes, Candace, thank you so much for all of your support. And we love talking to you and have loved getting to know you. And we always look forward to that time together. So thank you.
Thank you, Tebow fan and Paul and Sean. I just reposted the link to the ebook. Thanks for your interest. It is free. Thanks, you guys. Everybody's just being so sweet.
There's Trina.
I know. Hi, Trina.
Hi, Trina.
I'm reliving my trips to Brazil in my mind every time I see your lovely little family on your travels through YouTube. I'm so excited for y'all.
Thank you.
We love Mexico so much, and we are sad to leave Mexico.
Yeah, and honestly, we could reset our visa and come back in, but it's such a big world. There's so much to see, and we are so excited to see it.
Well, a lot of you have probably heard us say that we can see ourselves retiring in Mexico. Mm-hmm. So, like in the back of our minds, it's like we'll be back.
Yeah. So, you guys, I think we'll wrap up. We're at about an hour. Like I said, we talk all the time on Patreon, so join us there if you like. One thing I do want to mention is as we head into Central America, I don't know what the internet's going to be like. I don't know how much connectivity we're going to have. I don't know if I'm going to be able to produce a weekly YouTube video. I mean, we've been producing one every Thursday. Every Thursday without fail, we've had a video go up on YouTube. If you didn't see the Campeche one that just went up last week, I don't know, for whatever reason, people aren't watching it on YouTube. Maybe it wasn't popular, but it's a good video. Like it's a cool place. So go watch that.
And not visited by Americans. So there were a ton of Europeans there, like a ton, especially from France. So like The Secret's out in France, but there were hardly any Americans at all. I think they come here to Merida and to Cancun and all the other beach places. But come on, go to Campeche. It's so cool.
Yeah. But what I was going with there, you guys, is when we get into Central America and South, I really don't know what the internet connectivity is going to be like. So I'm going to ask in advance that you be patient with us and understand that if a video doesn't go up on Thursday, it's probably not because we don't want to. It's
don't leave us.
We don't have connectivity. But when we do get connectivity, and I've mentioned this before, we always go to our Patreon first. And it's not because of the money, it's because this is our consistent community. If you've been watching the video up to this point, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So we'll always go there first. And then after that, if we have anything else, then we'll come to YouTube, Instagram, and all that, and continue to share the story. We really appreciate you being in our community. Thank you. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Yeah, thanks, guys. This was fun. Cheers.
Cheers.
In my collapsible cup.
Yeah.
Until next time.
Until next time, we will see you in the next video.